So, hello and welcome to our Formula Student Germany Driverless Starters Workshop. Very nice to see you all here, early on a Saturday morning. And I was quite impressed when I looked at the entry list or registry list from where you all come. Obviously, we have people here from Munich, but also from other parts of Bavaria and Germany. And actually also from Belgium, Estonia, Greece, Hungary, Italy, Netherlands, Portugal, Russia, Slovakia, Spain, and the United Kingdom, which I think is awesome. And thank you very much for coming here, and I think that's worth a big round of applause for the people with a long journey. So, for all people who did not have the chance to be here, or who want to have a look later on what we discussed today, there is a chance to do so on the Formula Student homepage. So that means that we will videotape all these presentations and we will make them available later for all the rest and for you as well. Also, we want to share the slides with you so that we make the slides available as well for everyone later. So then the next point where we are very glad is that we can be here actually. So we are here at AID, Autonomous Intelligent Driving, and they invited us to be here for this workshop. And actually we are sitting here in their canteen, and it's nice that we all fit in. And I think we already got a lovely start with a nice breakfast. And throughout the day, we will always have something to eat and to drink, so help yourself with that. And yeah, a big thank you to AAD for having us here. We will give them a chance to tell us a bit more about themselves and what they are doing and what their ideas are. Later on in a short while after we have finished the introduction. And before we come to that, let's just have a look at what we are doing here, why are we here, and what the plans are. As you know, in last November, we said that for 2021 we are planning to make the acceleration event in Formula Student Germany a driverless discipline for all cars that are there. So that is a big change, and we said also we do not want to stop there. We also want to make the skid pad a mandatory driverless discipline. In general, that means that you could still come with your car and drive with a driver, and if you do not have driverless equipment, you just cannot participate in these disciplines. It doesn't make maybe much sense, but this is an option, especially for the beginning. But the goal is clear. We want to have these disciplines just done by driverless cars. But on that point, we stop a bit. That does not mean we stop pushing the driverless development there, but we do not have the plan to make the Formula Student Germany a fully autonomous thing. We still want to have a driver in the car. We still want the cars to be drivable by drivers, and also on the mid and long term, we want to see some kind of competition between a driver and a self-driving car. So that is a plan, and we are not intending to do years later a step where we say, okay, now everything has to be fully autonomous and the driver is not necessary. So we still want to have these cars that are fun to drive, and that can accommodate a driver properly, and that works. So just as an idea where we are going. To give you a proper framework how to work, for sure you need a set of rules and the way how we give the points for which discipline and so on. And since we do not want to wait too long for that, we will publish these rules a year earlier than we normally do. Usually we publish the rules for the next year, somewhere in October, the year before. this year we plan to have in October not only the rules for 2020 ready, but also the rules for 2021. You can be sure that there will be some slight changes, but just the mainframe shall be published in October this year, so that you have an idea where to get the rules from and what to expect. And then still we say, okay, for people who have not yet built a car like this, it's a huge step, and that's why we are here, because we want to give you as much support as we can. If you find other things where you think that we can support you and help you with getting started with these cars, please come to us, tell us what your ideas are, what we could help to. But for the start, we are here and we do this starters workshop to give you an idea of how to build a driverless Formula Student car. I think that most of you have already built a Formula Student car, and lots of people have maybe not yet built a driverless car. How many people have already built a Formula Student car here? Well, that's quite a lot. That's nice. And how many people have already built a driverless car? That's some, but not a lot. Very good. That's exactly what we hope that we have here. People who have an idea of Formula Student, but who want to learn something about the driverless part. That's good. And for that, we have put together a nice little agenda here. And after I am finished here, we come to the presentation done by Alexander Haag. He's the CTO of AID, and he will introduce you how AID works, on what projects they are working, and how they imagine the autonomous car of the future. When we're done with that, we come to the first Formula Student specific presentation, which will be followed by lots of more Formula Student specific presentations. First one is the environment recognition in Formula Student driverless. This will be done by Andras Tresko. He's from the KIT, and yeah, he will let us know how he thinks that your car can see where it's going, where it is actually. After that, we have a small break. In the small breaks, you can always help yourself with drinks and some food, which you will find in the room over there, which you probably have already seen for breakfast. For the dirty and used dishes and mugs and so on, you could place them in this sometimes spinning, now it's still standing thing over there. Yeah. After this small break, we start with another slot, which takes care about vehicle state estimation. This will be done by Hans Harder. He's from the TU Dresden, and he's more a software guy than a vehicle dynamics guy. So I think for most of you, or for most of at least the mechanical engineers, they are more familiar with the vehicle dynamics part itself, and maybe not so much with the software part. So I think that's a good chance to have a look at this topic from a different view. So what does the computer really need to understand how the car is driving? And after that, we have a presentation about the software development process. Software development process is something that is, in my opinion, hugely important. This will be done by Sonja Britz from ETH Zurich. And I think that is something which is very valuable, especially in the beginning, to make your mind up how your tool chain and how your processes can look like. For sure, you can start just by doing something, but at one point in the development, you will find that you need some kind of process and some structure for that. After that, we have lunch break. Lunch is also here. I mean, we are already in the canteen, and you will have the chance to sit here. And we have also, throughout this whole floor, possibilities to sit down and eat. So I think we have 160 spaces for sitting down and eating. So we will have the chance to find place for everyone. So. Going further, we come to the session with our locals, because we have two presentations by friends from Munich. The first thing will be done by Stanislav Gerasimov from the TU Munich, and he will tell us something about the steering in a Formula Student driverless car. And this will be followed by a presentation about brake systems in Formula Student driverless. So this brake system presentation will be done by the UAS Munich, by Simon Hopmeyer and a colleague. And actually, this part is focusing more on the actuators that you have on the car. Before we were more talking about just the software part. Now we are also talking about going into hardware and how we really make the car move or brake or steer. So this is done here, and after another small break, we will hear something about safety in Formula Student driverless. A hugely important topic. It is already an important topic for all other Formula Student cars. But here, going to a new topic, it may help to make some thoughts before that. And we have splitted this actually into two parts. The first part is the safety in Formula Student development. So why already in development? Because in the development phase, you basically make sure that the product that you build will later on hopefully work and be a safe car. For example, not crash if one sensor fails or one actuator does not do as you wish, or the ECU loses its voltage supply. Some things like this will happen, and you have to make sure in the development process that a failure like this will not lead to an accident or a crash. So that is something that we think is hugely important, and that has to be thought of already in the development phase. And we have Nils Albrecht and Robert Oehlmann from the TU Hamburg here, and they will tell us about this. After that, we go to testing and safety in Formula Student driverless. You all went testing, and you all know that it's maybe not easy to find an appropriate place to test your car. This is something that will not get easier by doing the driverless thing, and still it is something that you can manage. But what ways to prepare your testing, what processes do you have to have in place so that no one of your people gets run over by a car, that no one from the outside can enter that area, and so on. So just what do you do to make sure that you are in a safe environment while testing? Another short 15 minutes break, and then we come to the combustion vehicles in Formula Student driverless. This will be done by Christoph Wald and by Daniel Kunz, and they will tell us how they built their combustion car to a driverless car. So what do you need on a combustion car to make it run as a driverless car? What do you need engine-wise? What do you need clutch-wise? What do you need actuation-wise? For sure you need also steering, but that's maybe a bigger parallel to the other cars. But what are the combustion specifics that are interesting and that you need to look at once you take your car and convert it maybe? And finally, to sum this all up, we have Angelo Corradi from the ETH Zurich, and he will present the overall car concept of the AMZ car. The AMZ car, last year's winning car, and also the year before. I think it's a great chance to get an idea of how they set up their car, where they put their focus on in development. So also very much looking forward to that. After that, we have a small summary, and then we are already done with the day. So basically, quite a full agenda for the day, and I would like to ask you to use the day and ask questions at the end of the presentations. We will always have some time at the end for questions. Ask the speakers after the presentations in the break. Come to us, come to the officials, and I am here for you to answer questions, and we have some more, and I think most of them are somewhere over there, and maybe Stefan and Sebastian, who can wave a bit from there and say hi, and ask them too. They are pretty much into this idea, and you can find them always and give them feedback, ask them questions, whatever you have. So I think we are done with that here, and now I can hand over to Mr. Alexander Haag. He's the Chief Technical Officer of AID, and I'm very happy that he's here this morning to introduce us a bit more into what AID is doing and how they are doing it.